Hi everyone, Valentina Gonzalez here. It is currently April 2020 and we are experiencing the effects of the coronavirus in education. Many teachers are having to teach virtually using distance learning. And today I'd like to share with you a very powerful instructional method called the picture-word inductive model, which we've used for decades in education. But today I'd like to share with you how you can take this technique and use it in a virtual setting. So what is the picture-word inductive model anyway? Well, if you've never used the picture-word inductive model, here is an example off to the right-hand side of the screen. In a face-to-face classroom, I would project an image for all my students to see. I would choose an image that's highly engaging and related to the content of the classroom, related to the unit of study. And as a class, we would work to label this image. You can see here that all the nouns are in black, and the adjectives are in blue, and the verbs are in red. This picture-word inductive model is by no means completed. It's just a start. Then below the picture, we would use these sentence stems to complete sentences using the word bank we created around the picture. As a class, we would chorally read all of the words or echo read them together to gain fluency and build vocabulary. As you can see, the picture-word inductive model really allows students to access their prior knowledge. And as educators, we can assess their prior knowledge too. Then it helps them to build background using the funds of knowledge that they come to us with. This allows us to build new vocabulary for our students. And the picture-word inductive model gives us a way to support our English learners as they learn new English language structures. I love that the picture-word inductive model supports all of the language domains: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So here are the 3 steps to creating or implementing a picture-word inductive model. You simply select an image that's relevant and compelling, related to the grade level standards, and share it with students. So if you're face-to-face, you might share it using a document camera. If you are teaching virtually through distance learning, you might share it using Google Slides or Google Classroom. You might share it through Seesaw or whatever means your district has determined you will all use to share information with students. And then as a class, you'll title and label the image. So as you can see, when you're working face-to-face with picture-word inductive model, you're going to brainstorm and share to label very easily. In a virtual setting, this will look different. And that means that when we have students label the image, it may take place at different times for each student. We don't all have to meet at the same time to label the image, and I'm going to show you what that'll look like. And finally, we're going to use those labels to create sentences. So here's an example of what that might look like. This is what I might share with my students. I'm going to share with them a Google slide with an image, and I'm going to ask them to label the image. They're going to copy and paste this text box and place it anywhere on the picture and label it with a new word. So you can see here that someone has already labeled this as standing, and tennis shoes over here. They're going to label goat, fur, brown, black, white sweater, black pants, ponytail, 2 arms, and so on. Green grass, big tree, tree trunk, bark, White House, all kinds of labels everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. And then the next slide is going to tell us what we're going to do next. Now, like I said, this labeling is going to take place at different times for each student, and it's a shared document. So now that they've labeled, they're going to click here to go to the sentence patterning chart. And I'm going to show you what that sentence patterning chart will look like. So this is an example of the sentence patterning chart. We're going to take the picture word inductive model and combine it with sentence patterning chart. So in this example, we're going to talk about the goat first. We could have talked about the lady. We could have talked about the goat and the lady. We could have discussed the farm. Many things in this picture we can use to create a sentence patterning chart. The goat is, the goat has, and the goat can. And then students type in the fields underneath these words. The goat is standing on the lady. The goat is looking. The goat is brown and white. The goat is on a farm. The goat is near a tree. The goat has, and so on. But the point is that students are typing in here. It's a shared document. So if I'm a student in this classroom, I can see what other students have typed and I can add to it. Some students will type more than others because each student comes with their own set of knowledge and skills that they have, and we're building on that. So after they've typed into the sentence patterning chart, they're going to use that chart to create sentences. So we're moving from picture to a graphically organized chart to building sentences. So I want them to type their name here and then type the sentence that they create, and they can do more than one. So you can see that Mina typed, "The brown and white goat has 4 legs and a short tail." She didn't type exactly what was set up here, but she used the information to create her own sentence. So let's go on back to here, and you can see that we use the picture word inductive model to elicit words and new vocabulary and then build sentences. So we're really scaffolding students for this. I want you to think about when you use a picture, don't limit it to just visuals and images that seem fun, like this is me doing goat yoga, but think about math problems, graphs, maps of your community and the area that your students live in, social studies pictures that are relevant to the content, science pictures. These are going to be visuals that you can really use to ensure that they are learning the new vocabulary that they're going to need in that content, that domain-specific vocabulary. And finally, what I'd like to share with you is that these are the resources that I used over time to learn more and more and dig deeper into the picture word inductive model and really make it my own. And I hope that you also make it your own. So think about how you use pictures to grow language, literacy, and vocabulary for students in all content areas. And these are some resources that I recommend to you. I wrote about using pictures in the picture word inductive model in a blog post, and you can access it right here. I have the bit.ly at the top corner. I gave some step-by-step instructions that you can definitely take and use and make your own. But Emily Calhoun also wrote a book that is explicitly about the picture word inductive model. It's called Teaching Beginning Reading and Writing with Picture Word Inductive Model. And she talks about how she uses it in her work with English learners, and it's a really deep dive into the picture word inductive model. And then, of course, one of my favorite edu heroes is Larry Ferlazzo. He and Katie Hull, Sipines, I always mispronounce her name. I'm so sorry, Katie. Katie Hull and Larry Ferlazzo, in the ELL Teacher's Toolbox, they have a really good section on the picture word inductive model. So I hope you try it out. I hope you try it out during distance learning as well, because as we know, visuals are more richly imprinted into our brain because they go into two pathways, both the image and the word that we know, no matter what language we speak. This increases comprehension and recall for our students. So let me know how it goes. I'm on Twitter at ValentinaESL, or share with me on my blog. I'd love to know how you're using the picture word inductive model. Thanks. Bye, everyone.